We start in Adelaide, Australia, in December 1948. On a warm morning at Somerton Beach, a man is found dead, slumped against the seawall. Despite the heat, he is dressed impeccably in a heavy suit and a neatly tied tie. Police check his pockets looking for a name. They pull out an unused train ticket to Henley Beach, a bus ticket, cigarettes, and a comb. They find no cash, and they find no identification. Then investigators examine his clothing. Someone has taken a pair of scissors and systematically cut out every single manufacturer's brand label from his garments. A standard unidentified body usually relies on items simply being lost or stolen. The evidence here points to a manual, highly calculated erasure of identity. Months pass, and a deeper forensic search of his trousers reveals something investigators missed: a tiny, custom-sewn pocket hidden deep inside the lining. Tucked tightly into that pocket is a torn scrap of paper bearing two printed words: Tamám Shud, a Persian phrase translating to "it is ended." Police track down the specific book that scrap was torn from, a rare copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam found in a parked car nearby. On the back cover, investigators discover faint, handwritten blocks of capital letters, acting as a secret code. Meanwhile, the toxicology report returns strange results. An abnormally enlarged spleen and stomach pooling with blood strongly indicate the man was killed by a lethal, untraceable poison. For decades, the trail ends there. Then, in July 2022, modern DNA analysis gives the body a name: Carl Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne who vanished around 1947. We now know his biological identity, yet matching his DNA to a family tree leaves the hidden pocket, the encrypted codes, and the forensic details entirely unexplained. To understand the physical evidence, we have to look through two very different lenses. The first, international espionage. Under this framework, Carl Webb was a Soviet spy operating within a Cold War intelligence network. The missing clothing labels align perfectly with standard counterintelligence training. Operatives routinely stripped tags from their clothing to prevent enemy agents from tracking their movements through tailors or dry cleaners. The suspected toxins, like digitalis or streptanthin, were highly favored by state actors. They initiate natural-looking heart failure and then vanish from the bloodstream, masking a covert execution as a simple medical event. The handwritten text on the back of the book functions as a military-grade cryptographic cipher. Similar to the mechanical encryption systems of the era, these letter blocks are designed to remain absolutely secure without a matching key. The book itself was found in an unlocked car near the home of a local nurse named Jessica Thompson. Her house served as an intelligence dead drop for passing encrypted messages. Viewed this way, the Somerton Man's death was a highly successful, meticulously planned state execution. Now, we look at those exact same details from a different perspective. Carl Webb vanished in 1947 because he was a deeply depressed, heartbroken man orchestrating his own quiet exit. He removed his clothing labels to ensure his body would remain unidentifiable, a methodical step taken to spare his family the immense social stigma of a public suicide. The scrap of paper reading "it is ended" served as a literal, highly poetic suicide note, kept close to his body in his final moments. The uncrackable cipher on the back of the book maps to the first letters of lines from an unrecorded personal poem, jotted down by a man trying to recall the verses from memory. The rare poison was selected specifically because it guaranteed a fast, painless death on an empty beach. In this light, there is no global espionage. Every bizarre anomaly is simply the byproduct of an isolated man executing a deeply personal tragedy. We are left caught between two distinct realities: the absolute biological certainty of the 2022 DNA test and the total ambiguity of the artifacts left behind in 1948. Science has perfectly mapped the genetic lineage, but the core limitation of modern forensics is on full display here. We can sequence DNA, but we cannot sequence human intent. Providing Carl Webb a name confirms his biology. The case is now purely a psychological puzzle. We have to choose how to interpret the facts on that beach. Was he a casualty of a shadow war or a casualty of a broken heart? Answering the foundational question of his identity ultimately showed us how little we actually know about his death.